your go-to for all things home. This is Home Answers Radio, presented by JeffBuysYourHouse.com and by Center Guard Plumbing. Once again, here's Roger Piper.
Your go-to for all things home. It's Home Answers Radio.
Hi, welcome to Home Answers. I'm Roger Piper. This show is all about your home, inside, outside. We talk about everything. And I'll make one little promise to you, and that is if you spend the next few minutes with us, you're going to learn something that you didn't know. We got Anthony DeGrado. He is with Anthony DeGrado Insurance Agency. It's your shop, and you do insurance and financial services. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
It has been in the news over and over and over for the last, 2-3 years especially, homeowners insurance. And boy, I'll tell you, it's just amazing the amount of people that I talk to, and they're either frustrated or they're happy or they're in between or this and that. And oh my God, the prices went up and it's crazy. Tell us what's going on with the home insurance industry. You're a straight talker. Tell us all of what's really going on.
Yeah, there's a lot that's going. There's a lot to unpack right there. There's a couple big things. One of the big misconceptions, I'm going to start with that, is that you're paying for someone on the coast, someone in Florida, someone in California.
That's what they tell everybody.
Everyone thinks that. Everyone calls me and says, listen, I'm not on a sunny beach. I'm in Illinois. It's always cold and raining and it's horrible. Well, that's true. And you're not paying for those people. State Farm was founded on the fact that, listen, you're going to be paying a different rate if you're a farmer than if you're a person in the city. Mm-hmm. So that's how we still operate today. Although that is currently under attack, which is something that, that goes into another facet of the issue. But the state of Illinois itself, people don't understand this. We don't have hurricanes. We don't have earthquakes. We don't have mudslides. But we have more tornadoes than any other state in the country this year. It's been crazy. Mm-hmm. We've had more than Texas. We have more hail. We have more. The amount of claims we've paid on wind and hail in Illinois has been more than any other state. So,
and I don't think anybody knows that.
No, nobody talks about it. Nobody looks it up. But they just think about the big ones. The fire in California, the flooding in Appalachia, the hurricanes on the coast. That's what people look at. But you're paying for where you are. You truly are. That doesn't mean it's good. You're still in Illinois, so you're still paying for that. And kind of getting to that topic, right? So for some reason, Illinois has decided that they're going to jump into this insurance thing because so many people are complaining about it. So naturally, the right thing to do is the government gets involved, and then they make it much worse. That's usually how it goes.
Yep.
So that's what they're trying to do. They are actually trying to make it where we can no longer rate based on where you're living. They're trying to make it where basically it is fair across the board. So even if you're in the city, you should be paying the same as someone who's out in the middle of nowhere because there's no difference. We can't segregate based on where you live. So they're trying to get involved in doing that. So,
and right now, it's not done that way, right?
No. Right now, actually, the state of Illinois, for as many things as they do wrong, they have done insurance pretty well up until the last 2 years. Now, this last 2 years, they have this vendetta where they are going to grind into the insurance companies, and they're going to figure out a way that they can get a piece of the pie. So now they're trying to dictate on how we can make those rates. And then they will have to approve those rates, and it could take them 6 months, 9 months till they approve it. And if you look at the Palisades fires in California, that's a perfect example. What happened in California is they were not allowed to rate for these people where they were living. They're living on a cliff, basically in a box of kindling. Mm-hmm. They should have been rated higher. They couldn't. So State Farm pulled out of the state of California. Yeah, we couldn't insure there because of this legislation. So now the people in Palisades thought, oh, well, I have millions of dollars, so what's going to happen? My roof flies off. I'll just rebuild it. Well, everything burnt down. So all this bad press you hear about things not getting covered, it's because these people thought they could kind of self-insure when really they couldn't, because you may have $1 million, but do you have $30 million to rebuild your house from the ground up? No.
So what's the takeaway from that? We're going to see policies that are weird.
Yep, very
and we're
weird.
going to see price increases.
And price increases. So a main driver on that is, so now all these insurance companies, they're going through their home insurance, they're looking at their book of business, and they're saying, okay, listen, we're going to have to re-rate these people without using the factors of where they live.
Right.
Now, how am I supposed to rate for that? And then on top of that, we're not going to be able to do that live time. So how are we going to recover for any claims that we do have? How are we going to have enough money in the kitty to pay for these claims if we can't rate to risk? So now what's happening is you'll get all these insurance companies are hurrying up to get these rates in because they know if the state of Illinois gets involved or when the state of Illinois gets involved, we're not going to have time to get that rate. So we have to build up that kitty now so we could pay for all these crazy weather things that are going on in the state of Illinois and beyond.
So the state is trying to equalize everything.
Correct.
Instead of, okay, I live in a floodplain.
Right.
And the other person does not. So there's a rate difference there, right? And do you when do you think that it's not in effect yet, right?
So it's not actually. It was going to be. The Illinois Board of Insurance approved it, sent it in to be passed, and it was surprisingly the only thing that went through legislation that was said that was pushed to pass that they didn't pass this time around.
Wow.
But that was the first time ever that the insurance board has recommended that in Illinois, and a portion of it will get passed. I'm fairly certain. It just they might have to tone it down. They made it worse than California. My fear is in this next session, when it's not an election year and people aren't worried about fighting for re-election, they're going to push this through at comparable to California standards, and home insurance in the state of Illinois is going to become not how much you're paying. Hopefully you have a good company.
Yeah. So what does all of this mean for me right now? What should I be doing? Because it's a little bit of a 911.
Yep.
What should I be doing as a homeowner right now when it comes to home insurance? What should I do to be proactive?
Yeah, you really gotta kind of fortify right now, because if you're not with one of those big companies, one of those good companies that can weather this storm, you may end up in a situation where that company pulls out of the state of Illinois and you don't have home insurance. So right now you're going to want to be with an agent, someone who knows what they're doing, someone who understands what's happening in this current climate, political and actual climate. You're going to want to make sure that you have somebody that is advocating for you, because there is no way you can keep up on all this craziness in Springfield, all the craziness that's going on in life itself in Illinois.
Yep.
You need to have somebody that's going to be able to do that for you, and you're going to need an agent. You really are.
Yeah. So this is not a time to go alone. This is not a time where you do some shopping, things like that. You need somebody to advocate and basically go beyond the BS and tell you really what's going on and to be in your corner. So every time that so we talk about with homeowners insurance that at least once a year, look at it.
Yeah.
Because, they send the policy out and they go, okay, here's your new rate, because it never stays the same.
Right, no.
Here's your new rate. And then you look through, and unless you or somebody like you, you have no idea what you're really looking at.
No.
I sit there and when I talk to my agent, I go, what does this mean? I mean, because it's kind of written in English and kind of not.
Yeah,
but all of a sudden it's changed.
Yep.
So what does this mean?
Yep.
But you're saying because of the legislation and different issues that maybe it's time to do that checkup a little sooner.
Yeah, it's definitely time. And it's time to, I hate to tell people what to do when I don't know your situation, but it is really time to stop looking at insurance online and saying, listen, I could save $200 if I go with this company that I've never heard of. But it's the same coverage. Well, it's not the same coverage. Unless you're reading their policy pamphlet of 80 pages and you're reading everything and you're looking at these exclusions and looking at how they're actually covering your home, you're putting yourself in danger. And let me tell you, it sounds great to save that couple $100. Trust me, I understand a monthly budget. I have 3 small kids. I own my own business in the state of Illinois and Pritzker's in my pockets constantly.
Yep.
I get it. But if and or when something happens, it will be a lot worse, because your monthly budget will go down to zero. You could be getting into a lawsuit, or you could lose your house because you don't have the money to rebuild it or the coverage to do so.
And when somebody has a claim, and that's really why you're buying insurance. You're buying insurance in case something happens.
Correct.
But the worst thing is when you're there with your agent going, is that covered? Is that covered?
Yeah.
Is that covered? Is that covered? That's too late.
Yep.
You really have to be proactive. All right. So if you haven't noticed, Anthony is very real. And I'll tell you what, if you want to have somebody looking at what you're doing with your homeowner's policy, I really highly recommend him. 847-895-1500, because he's going to be real with you. He's going to tell you the truth. And, that's hard to find in any business anymore. But, again, I can't say enough about having some reality there. He's a State Farm agent, but and State Farm's not a bad company.
No.
I don't mind telling people I have State Farm, but it's not the company, it's the person. And sure, the company matters, okay? But you need the person to navigate. What I always like to say is you need somebody to drive the car.
Yep.
If you don't know how to drive an 18-wheeler, then please get somebody that does.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a, and I say it all the time. Listen, insurance is a game. And if you don't know how to play it, it's going to play you.
Yep. Real important. Okay, check him out. 847-895-1500 is the number to call. And also, if you want to go to the website, it's DeGradoSF.com. It's DeGradosF.com. Anthony DeGrado, the Anthony DeGrado Insurance Agency. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's part of The Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Your